Mystery surrounds the suspected death of a journalist in a sunken submarine. A Danish amateur submarine and rocket builder known as Rocket Madsen has been arrested over the disappearance of a Swedish journalist who was reportedly on his submarine before it sank. Freelance journalist Kim Wall was last seen on board the UC-3 Nautilus submarine with owner Peter Madsen. The submarine left the port of Copenhagen last Thursday evening. Wall's boyfriend reported her missing early Friday morning when they didn't return, which prompted a search and rescue operation. Private motorboats later discovered the downed submarine near the Drogden Lighthouse in Køge Bay. Madsen reportedly jumped into the water and swam for safety as the submarine sank. After he was brought to shore, Madsen told police that the submarine sank due to problems with a ballast tank. He also claimed that Wall had been dropped off at the port of Copenhagen on Thursday night and hadn't been on board when the vessel sank. The crowd-funded UC-3 Nautilus is reportedly the largest private-built submarine in the world. Contrary to Madsen's claim of a technical fault, Copenhagen police said the submarine was sunk deliberately, but no body was found inside. According to Wall's Twitter biography, she lived in New York and Beijing. Her work has appeared in various publications such as The Guardian, The New York Times, and Foreign Policy magazine. Kim Wall's family said the journalist was with Madsen to conduct an interview for a story. Madsen has been charged with involuntary manslaughter, but he has denied any wrongdoing. Getting lost at sea is a nightmare some lucky folks have survived. Others were less fortunate. Missing surfer found alive after more than 30 hours in freezing water. An extremely lucky surfer has been rescued after disappearing for more than a day in the frigid waters of the Irish Sea. 22-year-old Matthew Bryce was last seen on his way to Westport Beach near Campbellton for a day of surfing at 9 a.m. Sunday morning. An alarm was raised at lunchtime on Monday after Bryce failed to contact his family and friends. Local police dispatched a rescue team to search for him. After spending hours searching for Bryce, the rescue team feared the worst. But at 7:30 p.m., a Coast Guard helicopter found Bryce. He was clinging to his surfboard about 13 miles off the coast. A member of the rescue team told BBC Radio that Bryce did the right thing by staying with his surfboard. He was able to stay alive for so long at sea because of his wetsuit. Bryce was hypothermic but conscious when the Coast Guard found him. He was flown to a hospital in Belfast. Sharkwater filmmaker disappears on dive. The U.S. Coast Guard is searching for a Canadian movie director and conservationist who went missing in waters off Miami. On Tuesday, filmmaker Rob Stewart went diving with a small group of people near the wreck of the Queen of Nassau in the Florida Keys. The group dove to depths of nearly 70 meters as part of filming for the sequel to Stewart's 2006 documentary Sharkwater. Stewart surfaced at around 5:15 p.m., along with a fellow diver who passed out as he got onto the boat and required attention from the crew. By the time the crew was ready to retrieve Stewart, the filmmaker had gone back under. The crew was unable to locate him and contacted the Coast Guard for help. 2 boats and a helicopter were dispatched to the area to search for the missing diver, but have yet to find him. The dive Stewart was on was particularly difficult. Though experienced, his family believe it may have taken its toll on him after the 3rd try, leading him to lose consciousness. Coast Guard searches for family lost at sea. Search and rescue operations are still underway for a family of 4 that went missing during a storm at sea. Florida man Ace Kimberly and his teenage children set sail from Sarasota to Fort Myers Sunday morning, but encountered rough seas near Englewood. The family called a relative around 3 p.m. to inform them about 6-foot waves and a thunderstorm. They were reported missing after failing to reach their destination. The Florida Coast Guard began a search and rescue operation on Tuesday, dispatching 2 aircrafts and several vessels. A helicopter crew eventually found a debris field with items from the boat, including a tarp, 4 jugs tied together, a pair of shoes, a propane tank, and 6 life jackets. A body with a life vest attached was also recovered. It is believed to be one of the family members. The 29-foot sailboat was not in the best shape and was due for repairs in Fort Myers. It also had no radio, which could explain why officials did not receive a distress call.
New evidence shows Florida teens lost at sea may have encountered foul play. 9 months after 2 Florida teens vanished at sea, a Norwegian freighter spotted their 19-foot sea craft capsized miles from the Bermuda coast. The finding has revealed new clues about their disappearance. Austin Stefanos and Perry Cohen, both 14, were last seen leaving Florida's Jupiter Inlet on July 24, 2015 for a fishing excursion off Florida's coast. The teens disappeared that afternoon as a large storm hit the area. Months later, the teens' capsized boat was discovered about 100 miles off the Bermuda coast. According to investigators, the boat's battery switch and ignition had been intentionally switched off before the vessel capsized. The battery switch is reportedly difficult to get to and can't be maneuvered by natural forces like wind or currents. The teen may have switched them off in order to conserve energy. Both the bilge pump, which pumps out water, and the radio are powered by the battery. However, it's also possible that a third party may have switched them off, which would indicate there was foul play involved with the teen's disappearance. Stefanos' iPhone was discovered on board and may hold clues as to what happened to the 2 missing teens. The iPhone has been a source of tension between the 2 boys' families. Until recently, Austin Stefanos' father had refused to allow state investigators to inspect the phone in case it ruined his chances of recovering the data.